at the very beginning, I will introduce myself. My name is Metka Kordigel Aberšek, and gentleman in the first row told me I'm going to moderate this round table. And my first reaction was, why this? But then I was thinking, and actually I'm the only one in this room who have a paper. I'm a certificated woman for doing this. My PhD was from science fiction. What is science fiction? There are several definitions, but the one from Jules Verne is to know the newest knowledge of techniques and technology, to know science, to anticipate, to predict how the science is going to develop and how the society will change in this new circumstance. And this is the topic of our round table, so let's do it. We discussed 3 questions. Dear colleagues, dear professors, I know there is a lot to tell, but we have limited time, so each speech should last 3-4 minutes. Professor Aberšek is going to give you a slide when you should approach to the end of your speech. I'm not going to be unpolite. Here. So, our first question would be your thoughts in your country, in your educated environment, concerning the year 2020. We were forced to switch from face-to-face teaching into the digital learning environment. Nobody knew exactly what should he do. We managed somehow. Okay, now we are all healthy. What had changed? Did you switch to the old? Did you keep something what you had learned and realized it is very good, it is successful? So how is the situation in your country? How you evaluate the learning outcomes after this trip? Professor Ronghuai.
Right. Hi guys, my name is Marin Bilek from Beijing Normal University at the Professor and Beijing Normal, and I'm a university chair on LED. So the topic is about what the change before COVID-19 and after. So in China, as you know, is so big because of the difficult and the terrible relations. So in China, we need to face the big challenges in the 3 years because we have 200 million students and 15 million teachers. So because of the COVID-19, so how to do this kind of situations. So that's the question, how to check the education resilience of the country. So in China, we use the strategies to we call this the class and describe the learning. So actually, I can use 3 keywords. One is the connection. We need to make the connection between all the teachers, all the schools together, so that's effective. The second one is the digital resources. Actually, the central government offer all the basic resources, even resources for all the K-12 schools. Actually, totally about 10,000 lectures. That's enough. The second one should be flexible learning. Actually, every school, every region has different innovative strategies. But nowadays, so we cover what's changing. So maybe if you go to school, of course we come back to the face-to-face. But the situation is changing. One is if we have faced another emergency education, for example, because of the nature, we can stop the school, but the online later will be continuous the same time. That's the first. The second one is the central government looking digital transformation is a new strategy. It's a national strategy. So for us, for every school, we are trying to create the new development, digital development. The second is digital resources, and the same, the pedagogy, how to change the learning and the teaching to see what's the new shape of the classes in the class. And another interesting evaluation. Evaluation not just meaning the sectional learning, also including the evaluating the school, the teaching, the everything will be changed. So actually we have changed a lot. That's the security in China. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Professor was the first speaker because he really did the longer journey to Siberia. Beijing is far away. That we were thinking who should be the next, and there was a competition between Charles University and Vilna University. We checked on the internet, thank you, Andreas, and Charles University won. It is from 1348. So please, Professor Bilek. I'm sorry.
So it is university, so not me. But I'm approximately the same. So thank you for the thought. And what about the last 4 years? You know, I think this time for us was big challenge from one side, and for other side, probably many people in the university level, on secondary level, didn't know what is it, what can use. It was a big surprise for us. We have these technologies, we have these possibilities, but nobody used it before. Now we see that we can use hybrid, we can use online, we can use synchronous, asynchronous, and so on. But it's new thinking, and for example, my colleague said, okay, next state exam could be hybrid, online, or face-to-face. What about cheating? What about open book approach to exams? They are new challenges for our teaching practice, not only at the universities. But it is first big challenge. And second challenge is, in our country especially, we have the special kind of accreditation. It means you can prepare, for example, machinery engineers, you can prepare teacher of physics, and so on. And also, we are take attention to form. And it must be special accreditation for face-to-face form, present form of the study, and also for combined form, and also for distance form. Each three kind of study programs are separate accredited. But now, after COVID situation, after this mixed or online, offline, synchronous, asynchronous, now this big challenge, it's necessary to make this accreditation also for form. All form is something by your challenge, by your deal with students, by your deal with administration, by your deal with your boss, head of department, head of the dean, rector, and so on. But this is new challenges which one we are solving now. It's okay for the start.
Thank you for the start. Now we have two professors from Vilna University, one of Šaudai and one from Kaunas. We agree that Professor Lamanauskas is going to give us the broader picture because he is internationally very involved. He gets a lot of knowledge as the editor of Web of Science Journal and many other journals. So, Professor Lamanauskas,
yeah, thank you, Metka, but you know, gender equality and ladies first. But never mind. This is academic. I know, but we need to explain to massively. No, it's not so easy. Okay, I have a lot to say, but on the other hand, we have limited time. It's contradictory what to do. Yeah, you are from Charles University. Okay. What in relation to COVID, the post-COVID period, at least at our academy, generally continue online studies students. I mainly with master students because it's okay, somehow it's acceptable, mainly for students, because general students do not want to return back to university. This is at least the case in our country. We said if study program will not be online or remote, we will cancel our studies. For us, it's acceptable to be online and remote. What to do, and lectures should be adapted and should be. I'm not going into details about quality, etc. This is another issue. It's so difficult to explain. No quality, obviously, or very problematic issue. But okay, with some bachelor students, obviously mixing hybrid format. For example, I have one module this semester with bachelor students, second year students, and mainly we volume one time per week face-to-face, normal, let's say normal lectures, what is normal, like that. And sometimes remotely using Microsoft Teams or some other platforms. But majority, as I said, the master students continue to work online. Next, it's related to, let's say, computer education in general. I shortly want to mention because during last 5 or 10 years, traveled like what in different countries and different regions, Latin America, Asia, Europe, etc. But and in relation to previous gaps today. Some concerns in relation to computer education and how to change curriculum, in general curriculum, for schools for different levels. As we discussed yesterday, non-formal discussion that it depends what education for what lifespan, for what people, because let's say in Amazon region, for example, the Brazil places, etc. The question is how to reach unreachable people. Kids, for example, we are not talking about technology or ChatGPT, etc. Talking how to have simple boat and to come to some platform on the water and to have some performance, let's say, or activities. And by the way, it's dangerous on the road. Faced to different animals, crocodiles, alligators, etc., etc. Yeah, it's not a joke. Or in some countries, in some continents, for example, Africa, they have so good contacts with South Africa, etc. And visited many schools. And for example, they're developing some project programs like Science to Go, for example. Just simple bus and we go into countryside. Generally no schools or so simple schools, and the kids have only one chance to make something by hands on hands activity, and they see usually for the first time some, for example, calculator or something like that. Okay, very different. But returning back to curricula. I think that it's generally also in relation to the tenure, two orientations. First, let's say more or less classical or traditional. I like this term traditional. What does it mean traditional? nobody knows. But ICT, so-called all-in-one ICT, information communication technology, and curricular related to that, and generally consists from three parts: and computer literacy, digital literacy, and information literacy. And the next orientation is, let's say, computer education, computer technology education, with literate orientation. I think the data structure, algorithm, programming, and real computer science. And is it possible to start, let's say, from young ages, like in South Korea or other countries in Asia, China, for example, or Israel or United States? Now the direction is to the second orientation, computer technology education, not ICT. And Lieutenant also is, let's say, thinking how to say, reorientate the approach and possible to go to another direction, not just input ICT, including, for example, robotics schools. We got kids working with that, not in regular schools, but like informal education institution centers, etc. Usually we have some of the robotics, etc. Recently, Lieutenant launched 10 regional STEAM centers, regional network. And okay, it's possible to speak a lot, but another concern, just a concern, teacher education. Today, it was some issues raised in relation with teachers. It is the biggest concern. What teacher for what school? Is it all like stimulating?
Right.
Well, I was.
Thank you. Thank you, Vincentas. Since I come from Kaunas campus and Vincentas from Cholet, so it differs from campus to campus. We have one philosophy. Yes, thank you for mentioning STEAM. Lithuania, thinking about STEAM and women, specifically women with technological background. Lithuania is beyond, above average. Speaking about COVID and the pandemic and what lessons it brought to us. So first of all, we had 2 weeks of intensive coaching for all lecturers at university. Because at first we had anxiety, we had fear, sitting and looking into the screen, seeing yourself all the time, because the students were with the cameras on. And then there were a lot of issues, again, how also with exams, for example, what to do. We needed to rearrange the tasks completely. There was no ChatGPT was not available, so we simply replaced the tasks so that we wanted to be sure they don't cheat. And who are we to force them to buy some cameras for filming themselves? Another thing, another important question was that imagine the student was sitting in, of course, these were analog houses. Okay? So we understood that there is a whole family listening to the lecture. And there were cases where they were coming and saying, thank you for this lesson or this lecture, because my grandmother learned so much from your lecture. Okay, this was a sign, this was also important, but we understood that we would not go back to the previous system of education. This was clear. Speaking about master level studies and students, yes, we offer online education. In the majority of cases, we ask them what is their preference. Speaking about bachelor level students, since I was the chair of the program, I received the feedback, and today from the 2 keynote speakers, I think both of you touched very important points there. One was also depression, isolation, what could bring these like online technologies. They were sitting alone during the pandemic, and we did not know how to control that, how to reach the handout to them. When they came back to the classrooms, their request was to have physical contact lectures. So at least in Kaunas campus, we have only contact lectures for bachelor level students, and because it's a big university. Borut University has 25,000 of students. In Kaunas we have 1,000. In Chile, I'm not so sure, around 2,000. So it's actually, it differs. So this is number one. Number two, that yes, we are certain that if we go to online education, there are many universities worldwide that offer online education, and students are speaking about the quality and they start choosing. It means that our administrative staff, they invested a lot of money into our training, like professors needing to undergo the training, special training, what are the tools, what are the software programs, how to use them, how to pre-record lectures, how to give case studies, and how to make your classes interactive. If you record your lecture, you give some task, you lead the task to the students, and then they have time individually, they come back, and then you solve the issues. For example, autonomous automobiles. Is this for or against? Because there were cases at that time, there were cases when there were accidents happening, right? So critical thinking with your recordings, with your classes. So these changes the pandemic brought us a lot of changes, and I believe that time is needed till we arrive at a certain point, all of us, but I think this is for the better future.
So you didn't go back to the normal?
No.
You took the best?
No, but what was said that it's the teacher, what was very interesting, there were cases when master level students come, or also bachelor students come, and they say, yes, it's time now, the lecture is over, and they would say, no, it's so interesting, could we go on, or something. So it's the teacher that is also important. Students come because of the teacher.
Professor Tuomi, what remained after children came to a school in Finland? What was good and you kept? What was the old one?
Well, the pandemic was, of course, a shock. And people thought that it would speed up the digitalization in schools. And of course, people were forced to do that. But I think what is now discussed, at least in Finland, more is the kind of really the need for social interaction and emotional things and so on. So what university students have seen loudly making this point that they absolutely go to the university to be there with other students. So maybe this is not everyone, but really I've been thinking like this depends. Educational systems are so different. We talk about education, but they are really very different, even in the Europe. Within EU, but if you go beyond Europe, I mean, they are different systems, so it's kind of difficult to generalize anything. But I'm kind of thinking like, why people went to, in the US, why they went to the Ivy League schools and paid a fortune for that, so Harvard and MIT and so forth. They often seem to me, actually, they don't learn something, but they learn to know people who will become the kings of different countries in the future. So the social capital is really important part of those kind of settings. But there's the other social part, which is really the whole, I mean, these are human relations, and they are really very important part. It's kind of invisible part, or has been the invisible part, but now it has become really visible because of these two things. The other one is that the pandemic has highlighted the point that young people want to be together, and the studies are kind of almost secondary to the point that we want to part together and have this human interaction. It's a very important part of kind of growing up. And that is difficult. That was a difficult transition, at least at that time. The other part is what we have been talking about, is this wide ongoing pandemic of mental kind of issues, which seem to be related to the wider use of digital media. On the other hand, I mean, personal level, I have a kid, son who is now 16, and he's all the time sitting next to the computer. And his social relations actually are in the system. So he's communicating with all people around the world who are interested in said things. So what we used to call social interaction is also moving to this digital kind of infrastructure. So I'm not really sure what you think about it, because on the other hand, I'm of course all the time saying that stop gaming and start to do something more useful and read a book. All the time throwing books to my son. He doesn't really care that much because he has so many more interesting things going on around him. So I also kind of see that there is something new happening at the social level. But on the other hand, we have these problems. We have problems with learning. So as I just mentioned, in Finland used to be the kind of golden example how the education system should be organized. Now we are going down quickly. People are wondering what's happening there, and the most popular explanation is that, well, first, it is so complicated that we don't understand, and the second is it's probably the digital media that is actually eroding the kind of level of types of competencies that are measured in the design, like systems.
So we have now two kinds or two types of social competences, but we need both.
Yeah, and we don't understand the digital. Well, of course, you know that the thing has changed. So we are kind of fluent in having Zoom and team meetings, and we can really efficiently actually do also those kinds of things. But on the other hand, what we are seeing is that, well, simply, people are traveling much more than before. So there's really booming in air traffic now again, despite the global warming. Because people want to go to places and meet people. That is really important. And in many cases, if you think about learning, if I just quickly tell you an anecdote, one of the most expensive mistakes I made, I was at Nokia Research Center in 1990s, developing kind of information infrastructure and knowledge management systems for Nokia. And I made one mistake. I was trying to roll out the global infrastructure for Nokia at that time, so that people can innovate and exchange information and so on. And we were supposed to roll out this infrastructure to UK, and there was an IT specialist at that end, and it was kind of technical piece of cake. To just install this and that software there, and then we link using IP all these computer systems, and then we are able to communicate. And this guy was kind of, yeah, maybe you should come here. And I was saying, nah, it's not worth the money. And later I was saying that that was the most expensive cup of coffee I ever paid, because everything became extremely difficult, because I hadn't met this person face to face. We did not have this kind of trust relation that you need to have if you want to work in the virtual environment. So the question is how you build this social relation that allows you to do things in the digital, on digital platforms is really critical. So that's something that we are learning, but we don't know how to do it right yet.
What we know, the teacher.
Now I suggest that we start the second round, because Sposobni vemo, kaj nam je ostalo in kako to je. That's why I'm going to start the second round with Professor Čampelj and with the second question, which is artificial intelligence is widely extended on since 1 year and a half. What has already changed in our educational system? What are we going to change? And please consider that not only we have to learn to deal with artificial intelligence, but that AI is going to learn too. So, what can we predict?
So anyway, I will answer to the first question because there is some position in the audience, but shortly, because I think anyway about this. After the COVID, we all expected, let's say, experts in digital education, that the teachers, the school, they will really invent a new normal. So something before Corona, something during Corona, and then together some produce this new normal. But actually, what we got after the Corona, we just got even more digital device. So we always had this Gauss curve, and during that time, we just before Corona, we started to prepare a new digital education action plan. For example, we were produced in 2006. Dusan was that time said, but in that time we could really produce very concrete things because we were only experts on digital education. But in Corona. When Corona started, also all the policy makers, or let's say decision makers, the ministry, they want to do something, And what happened? Actually, the people from one side of Gauss, they didn't understand the decision makers on the other side. So we have issued these digital divides at the ministry level, but of course, we have those divides at the teacher level, because, for example, we had a lot of young teachers who were they have small families and they live together with parents or even grandparents, compared to other teachers where they have their own houses, other socio-economic status, and this was also important, and it was influencing it has impact on quality of education. But I will not go to the details. But anyway, at our ministry, even those digital gaps, we actually decided that now, for this financial perspective, we will actually assure so much, let's say, money, so much budget, as we never had in the past. But it means for all elements of education. So it means also for policymakers, but for, let's say, school leadership. We have, for example, 7 million euros. We have Mateja, she's dreaming all day about the school leadership in the future, that we have digital sustainable teachers. We have enormous 7.5 million euros, But, we have, for example, we just discussed before one headmasters, but why it's all going smoothly, But just because of that, the people from all parts of this Gauss curve come together, and the critical mass of those who want to know, let's say, know what should be, they're not enough in this, it's not big enough in this group. Also, we have now curriculum reform. We put all, let's say, all staff, people in those curriculum reforms, and some of the new, let's say, this new normal people with new normal, let's say, everyday life and practices. But there are only 2 compared to 7 others. So, for example, we have Radovan here from the National Education Institute. I'm sure you can say that actually this is true, and we cannot go smoothly, or let's say fast as we expect. Just to say, and then for the second question, which is even harder than the first one, what can I say, about the second question? Of course, what we try to do, we try to do this through the development, because we try to encourage policymakers
to participate in the development project. For example, Q project, or I know here we have people from China. We discuss how we can do something on AI in the future, or how it influences on teachers. So this is, I think, the most important thing is development. But of course, we try to also influence the other systematic things which we have. So, CPT, continuous professional development of teachers. I already mentioned curriculum. But actually, we have budget, you know. So it's not, but it's not going so fast. We have also, for example, here we have Blush. They are working. They produced very nice platform for the digital data literacy. You know, data analytics, etc. But we just go step by step. So that's the case. But we have also this digital divide that we discuss also with the student level, and we still don't have, as I can say, the light in AI at the end of the tunnel, what we actually expect. But maybe when you will have the third question, I will say some crazy about this. Okay?
Shall we skip to the third question?
You want? Okay.
So, let's say AI is here. Students are using it.
Yes.
Teachers are not using it so intensively as students. So, what now in China? What will you change? What have you changed?
Actually, I was thinking about you propose a question. Actually, today's those meaning actually gives a perspective of science fiction novelists. Yeah, I'm trying to understand. That's another perspective. It's very interesting. So, if we, for example, if we open the data, the needs, and feed them constantly, the AI system can link the behavior, element, structure, relationship, everything to that. That's the trend. If you maybe you in 5 years, 10 years, that's maybe it's a future. So go back to China actually. China's policy to AI education generally say is positive. So for China, we tend to use maybe three keywords when all these campuses. One is the literacy. It's first for the students. But in China, we have a curriculum, science, and information science and technology. And for the AI, the element of the AI, literally everything in the course from all K-12 schools. So that's what we try to do. The second one, we do another things for help the teacher or to use AI. Actually, 5 years ago, we have a policy to help how to use AI to promote the proficiency of the teachers. I think we have some universities and then regional and those requested. That's the question with the literacy. The second one we think about the meeting of AI technology to education system. I mean, for school should be careful. For university, everything you can do because the university can control everything, but in school is not easy. So nowadays we have some two things of AI experience research. One is how to check the ability of AI using Turing testing. I mean, if we use a tool system, here is a system using AI, here is the people, and we try to find the student can identify which one is bad AI, which one is bad teaching. So let's try to do the things to check the ability to which kind of classes, kind of schools will be used. Should if for example, if we have to be careful, actually because of the values and mandates is very important. And the second one is about the social experiment. So it means if ICT technology to a regional, including the school, family, and everything, we needed to family, which change the system, not just the class, not just the school. You needed to do the family situation. For example, in China, we have the test, computerized the test. Should be careful. We can find the significant differences between this family have a high digital literacy. This is low, we can see the difference between the families. So you should be careful, let's get into we should remove. The second one should be standards. Actually, we use AI technology to educate the system. Actually, we should see a lot of things we do. Actually, ChatGPT is just one of them. Actually, in China, we have, nowadays we have more than 300 language models similar to ChatGPT, but not compared with the ChatGPT. So how to involve the ChatGPT technology to in the system? So we need to create the standards. Actually, we have a domestic standard, and also we cooperate with IEEE to try to create the global technology standard. For example, how to protect interface and how to use the agents to do this kind of things. So that's going to be technology. Yeah. Thank you.
Czech Republic, not Charles University. I assume that Czech students love ChatGPT and AI, and that the teachers love it also, or not so much. What they do, what has changed in the last year when kids are smarter and smarter in using it?
Yes, it's difficult to speak about Czech Republic school system, but I see many boom of courses, offering of courses for teachers, how to use the AI in education, but I'm not sure what is the content of these courses, but it is hundreds of courses is offering by different companies, by different colleagues to all the teachers, but I'm not sure that what word? Responsibility. Who is responsible for my solution, for my work, for my text, for my essay, for my seminar work? Who is responsible? Me. I'm responsible, but maybe you know that when 1.5 years start this AI boom, and in Web of Science was one article, one paper, and one of the authors was ChatGPT. And it was, I think it was a little bit joke from this publishing house, or from this journal, to provoke something. It is author or not. But I'm a little bit optimistic. My approach is optimistic approach. I'm proposing to my students, please use artificial intelligence, please use ChatGPT, please be careful, be creativity, and ask this intelligence, but for me it is not intelligence. Intelligence, I think it's a little bit different. It is only nickname, something like nickname of this. And please write it in your seminar work. I worked, I used, but it is a little bit the same, like different technologies, different devices, instrument. For me, in this time, it is instrument, but I'm not sure what is now, what is changing in our schools. But I'm a little bit, I'm worried that nothing. My proposal is we have to start with objectives, with goals. But it means that I am not sure that my big friend, my big colleague, Vincentas, spoke about digital literacy. But I'm not sure that it is the right word. I'm against this word digital literacy. I don't know digital literacy. I know reading literacy, I know learning how to learn and so on, but I can use digital technologies. Digital technologies for me is not goal, not objective. It is only way this method, how to support my literacies, my competencies in different fields. But I'm not sure what is now happening in our schools. But I think it is the same boom like before. But I studied, my teacher studies was in 80s. But in 80s was a big slogan in our country. Each Czech people must be programmator, must programming in Pascal or Basic and so on. But it was a little bit not the right way. But now, yes, we have to include AI in school. Yes, we will include it, but as colleagues said, step by step. And when we have this kind of the goal, when AI is useful, is, how to say, supporting of my goals, living goals, human goals, and we can use it. Maybe I'm not sure that it is the situation in Czech Republic, but it is my position.
Now we will be polite and we will give the voice to the lady from the Lithuania. And thank you, Professor.
Thank you, Jean. Last year, I opened my computer in front of the class and I said, look, I will show you how ChatGPT works because I suspect that none of you have tried it. And really, maybe one person knew it. I said, look, see? Easy. Don't use it for the exam, please. Yeah. So there were 2 students who used it. But it's not about punishing and catching. I told them, I'm not going to ask you some new program to catch what you wrote with the help of ChatGPT. No, that's not the way out. And we are somehow solving. Regretfully, we submitted luckily we submitted some applications for European funding, how to use artificial intelligence tools, like also how it could help in the content itself. This was not successful, but generally speaking, yes, students do use ChatGPT. There were a couple of cases when they wrote their bachelor thesis with the help of ChatGPT. Of course, they were dismissed immediately. There are very strict laws now in Lithuania. But I would come again back to the teachers and professors. We have in Lithuania some special platform which is called Kursuok LT, courses LT, for people who want to add additional competencies. These are, I would not say that this is the same as micro-credentials, because of course now the universities are rearranging, but my colleagues, we registered, the government is giving 500 euros for every person, and for example, I could take a course from a different university, from Vincentas, for example, he can teach me. Cybersecurity, whatever I choose, cybersecurity, ChatGPT, some tools, and he can do from the other university as well. So this is really also the step where we encourage colleagues, first of all, to have the knowledge, because how else? When you were speaking about your son, for example, yes, this young population, they are like avatars, and this is, again, they say this is, I feel much safer there. I have a lot of friends, nobody feels my pheromones. It's good, I can sell things there, internet things, and so it's a very, at the moment, I see that this is, we are like recharging, but in the long time perspective, we will see a lot of also positive aspects. And what we say that we should not be afraid of changes.
What do you think, Professor Lamanauskas, should be afraid?
I'm so disappointed. No. It's okay. I gave the question. I gave the question to ChatGPT. Do you know my personality? No proper answer. Nothing. Just read something. I was absolutely disappointed. Okay, but never mind. Yeah, it's as colleagues said, it's difficult to predict, but as what is the new normal or not new normal, or let's return back first to Second Life. Also, it's a good platform. I know. In some countries, it's used a lot. Using a lot, for example, in States also. My colleagues in other state university, we're using Second Life, for example, platform for studies. Why not? I'm not an expert, of course, well, in computer artificial intelligence, but our team now reporting what small research. It's going to be research with research teachers, students, universities, to know like panoramic view about, for example, do they know something about artificial intelligence, about usefulness, etc., etc. Now we're collecting data, but you know something because it's developing very fast. Technology itself, and that is how we use it. But my next concept is to create that to the students, because as I mentioned, we are working online. And you know, say possible next week I got the exam to one module, and this is the problem how to perform problem the exam remotely, because the students can use ChatGPT.
What is today? This problem or something?
For example, you give it a question, for example, right? So, and you are not sure what answer from what source and who possibly generated.
You must ask a different question. Yes.
Yeah.
Professor Tuomi, what is going ChatGPT and even smarter AI devices, what are they going to learn within the next 10 years from us, from each other? Can we use it usefully or perhaps not?
Yeah, there is potential of backlash, of course. The development has been very fast, but it's also based on scaling of computational capacity in ways that may not be sustainable. So I've been saying that current deep learning systems are the most stupid way of doing computations ever invented by humankind, because they typically do iteration. That's the kind of underlying process. So that leads to the questions like energy consumption and all that kind of thing. It is not clear that we can scale that type of thing. So talking about science fiction, we are going, talking about science fiction, we are going to non-algorithmic information processing, where we use analog computing and maybe quantum computing as part of it. And it's going to be very different. It's not going to be algorithms as we knew them. It requires very different competencies. So computer scientists typically don't have these kind of competencies. As we saw already, typical computer scientists don't have the competencies that are needed to train AI systems. They are data-driven systems. They are based on very different kind of computational approach. And you need to have, let's say, theoretical physics and statistics background to understand what they are really doing and so forth. Anyways, in computer science itself, the competence basis has already been shifting. It will be probably shifting, if we talk about science fiction, also in the next 20 years, towards potentially very different types of algorithms, different types of non-algorithmic information processing systems. And all these things have been discussed since the beginning of computers. So we can go back to Norbert Wiener and we can go back to the 1940s discussions why digital computation is useful in very specific types of problems. So digital systems, yes, may be interesting. Digitalization itself is a very interesting process because it requires that we represent the reality in ways that you can kind of separate semantics from the syntax. That's what you need to do technically. So it's also, that's also very interesting research since 50 years that what parts of reality can be represented in this digital format. So that's talking about science fiction. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen there. Then talking about science fiction in education. Last week I was just participating in the Ministry of Education panel in Finland, where they're talking about the Finnish digital compass. So EU countries have the digital compass. The Commission has proposed that all European Union countries develop their digital compasses, which are basically the strategies where they are planning, how they are planning to go towards the digital future. The Finnish case is very interesting because they actually go further than the Commission proposal. And where they go further is that they use a term which cannot be translated to other languages, as far as I know. In Finnish it's called sivistys. So it has something to do, it comes from civilization or something. And the closest they use when they translate this Finnish digital compass in the English, they use the term Bildung, which is a German kind of term. But what it actually implies in the Finnish government strategy, what they are talking about is that we need to move from knowledge to wisdom, basically. And wisdom is a much broader concept than just knowledge. And these digital technologies should be viewed from that point of view. It is a kind of broader view. So if Finland used to be the kind of leader in kind of deploying these digital technologies 10, 15 years ago, I think it might be an interesting debate coming up that what is missing from these digital compasses today in the European context. And I've been saying also that this is also very interesting because it opens up the discussion to different types of knowledge. So in the global context, actually, there's quite interesting things. I'm talking about like the kind of, let's say, African context where you have local knowledges which are very different, or Australia or whatever, South America, types of knowledge that are not counted as knowledge at all in the kind of Western and American context. They are coming up as potential important parts, keeping the societies going and transforming. So there is a kind of epistemic change also in that sense. Talking about science fiction, technology is going to be very different. We are going to understand digitalization in a way which is much broader than we used to. We see that it's all kind of seeing a very narrow slice of the reality. And then that has also to do with kind of epistemic, kind of rethinking of what we mean by knowing, knowledge creation, and understanding how knowledge underpins societies and renewal and sustainability. So all these kind of interesting things are coming up, I think.
Thank you very much. And now we will conclude with Professor Čampelj. What about the Slovene point of view? Are we going to raise wise young adults and adult people after they finish our school system? Or will they just get knowledge? We should be wise as a nation, because we are small, we must be smart.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same for all nations. Also, big nations, they have smaller regions. So it's, we are one big street in Beijing, Slovenia, or I don't know, in New York, of course. Yeah, I mean, about this generative AI, because it's not just GGP, it's many things. You know, if you try to be, let's say, pragmatic, you say, compare, let's say, to other applications which young people are using. For example, they use Instagram, and young ladies, 30 of them, they are thinking about how they will change their minds on many things. This is generative AI, which is acceptable. It's not doing this, So from there they can get some knowledge. Of course, they can get also some crazy things which are not true, Because we know that if generative AI doesn't know something, then she always has an answer, But this is then the most important, that we discuss this with students so they can see this critical point of view, what they get from generative AI. Usually it's positive, but it's true, but sometimes it's not. But the same is for Instagram, they should have also always critical point. But Instagram is actually somehow true if they use it, I don't know, a couple of hours per day, and it's just like a massive group of people. They just go to the wrong way, This is Instagram, but I think generative AI is not. Of course, there are issues about assessment, which we mentioned, but I think more important, as you mentioned, is how to learn to learn, because this is one of the key competences which we have also in EU, but assessment need to change, Because it's important is what the kids they know, which skills they have, and what kind of attitude they got. So it means that we need to collect the evidence, or the students should be more focused to collect evidence through their process of learning. And the final exam should be maybe just one part of it. But actually I'm against the exam, because if I'm ill, and there is I don't know, today I'm ill and I have an exam, it's in 15 minutes, it's not fair, totally. Because I was learning all the professor know me, I came many times to his, office and discuss, but for the final exam, I will not pass, So it's not fair. But also, that's why this formative assessment and self-regulation and many things are more important. So we should somehow turn around this assessment, but should come through the process. But I'm not against the final exams, because we have national exams, and through national exams we get, also the information about the teachers at schools, because we saw that at the same school there is difference between teachers is bigger than between schools. For example, I have two boys, and in one boy it happened that their class was much better at the national exam than, let's say, 7A and 7B. 7B was the better. And then the head was saying, okay, what we'll do for the next round, we will just mix the students, and we will not be under average, And then we actually complain that they should do something with those teachers, and also students in 7B grades, that they will be better. Okay. But now, just to finish this, let's say, the future of AI, because I'm also, let's say, from computer science and math, and to also follow this, let's say, development of AI from the beginning, let's say from the first wave, because now we are in the fourth, I don't know, maybe on to fifth wave. But actually, let's say, our society produce computers, they actually would like to do something which is the same as we are, let's say. Because then it can really help us, support us, also, let's say, emotional things, if we are alone. But if we look this from the positive way, not because we have also negative, then we can see what is actually the capability of AI and what is the capability of human, And sometimes we are very near. Even, let's say, that technology which uses neural networks, it's very important. But we know that in ChatGPT there is some, but ChatGPT or Copilot from Microsoft, they give us the same answer as a human, That's the case, but then the last point which I'm thinking about is about these negative parts. Because if the ChatGPT or Copilot will actually use information from our news, which is just negative, criminals, the most important people on the TV are criminals and great politicians, isn't it? We just talk about them all the time. But actually the AI positive part of AI doesn't do it, no. And this is the last thing which I'm thinking about. You know, if I as a human has a program jealous, I think I don't have it. But maybe you can add, but you know, if AI if you program it that it doesn't have it, it's okay. But the human has it, you know, and maybe it can help, you know, to human to show a mirror what we can change. But I think that people who are jealous, we cannot stop them. We cannot. There is not a button or a program that we can delete about this jealousy. But maybe we should do something, you know, also in society. So I just try to, as I said, this is maybe some crazy thing, but this is how AI maybe help to, let's say, to find together with humans the solution that actually society will really develop for them. Because now we are not developing, we just buy things, you know. I want, there is no tablet, I want to check, this is not sustainable. We said that our planet is, we used 300% of the planet already till now, till April, which we had till the end of the year. Okay, so I just opened some elements.
I would like you would have finished. I would like you would have finished with the last sentence, but the sentence before the last sentence, because that would give me the key for conclusion. And I would say, yeah, just read the last sentence. So I like your new last sentence because it is in the spirit of Jules Verne. He was optimistic. His anticipation of development, the coexistence with the human and technology, has been always in the way that the technology and that the science will help the man to solve the problems. But the man must find a way how to use this knowledge. That would be in accordance to your last sentence, and it should be the conclusion of our discussion. I'm sorry that we have to finish.
Let's listen. There is that we have data.